I do.
Hello, everyone. It's Dennis here from Northwest Outdoor Lifestyle, and I'm here with Nancy Ballin, who is, she's got kind of a special, unique event going on that could just save your life or the life of someone you love. And I'm going to let Nancy tell you a little more about it.
Thanks, Dennis. We are about to put on our 8th annual Family Jewels 5K. It is at St. Edward State Park in Kenmore, and it has two purposes. One is that we educate young men about testicular cancer, a very curable cancer that my young stepson died of when he was 20. And the other thing we do is it is the main signature fundraiser for the Jameson Jones Memorial Scholarship. When Jameson died, he had two younger sisters who were 12 and 18, and he told us he wanted to leave his college savings to the girls. That inspired our other mission, which is that we provide scholarships to local kids who've had a sibling with cancer. We're currently supporting 3 students who graduated last year from high school. They're all in college, and our scholarship is renewable for all 4 years of college. So for those 3 families, we've made a $40,000 commitment. And I just was notified that we have 2 brand new applicants for this coming school year.
Okay, so you've got a 5K, you've got a cause that is, well, kind of near and dear to the hearts of most of us.
Mm-hmm.
What is this?
This is a nut hut. I like to call it the locally famous nut hut. The screen printing was done by my awesome sponsor, Northwest Printed Apparel. She and I worked together on the lettering. You can see the U's. If you look at our logo, it's supposed to be a subtle but not too subtle scrotum, and inside are the family jewels. And of course, there's 2 sets of family jewels that I'm concerned about. One set of family jewels is the set that Dennis has or may have part of, and all you young men and old men and babies, male babies have. And the other set of family jewels that we're concerned about are families, finances, their children, their crown jewels, and the money in the family. Because what happens is when you have a child with cancer, what you are not doing or not being able to do successfully is saving for college. So what the Nut Hut is it is a mobile self-check testicular cancer station, or a mobile testicular cancer self-check station. So what we have here is a tent. It is opaque, so when you're in there, nobody can see what you're doing. It is private. And inside, we have it at the 5K, and locally, or actually recently, it has started making appearances at other local venues. It was the star attraction at the Greater Bothell Chamber of Commerce meeting last Thursday, where the scholarship was the event scholar, and we had her set up, or had it set up inside the North Shore Senior Center to the great amusement of about 50 people. Inside the Nut Hut, there is a table that has inside, who I like to call Mr. Scrody. This is a medical grade model of a scrotum, and it has 2 masses in it. And what this teaches you to do is how to do the sort of rolling, squeezing check of your scrotum or the model scrotum, so you can find the masses in here and you know how to do a self-check. This is inside. This is a very important part. Also inside are these 2 posters. This poster tells you how to do a self-check, that it's better if you're warm. So another feature of the Nut Hut is a heater, because if you're not warm enough, the testicles disappear. I learned, as a person with only sisters, I learned when you're cold, you can't check your testicles because they're sucked up into the body. So this tells you how to do a self-check. We also have a small version of this in a shower card that are inside our pamphlets, so you can hang it in your shower, and then you can remember every month to do your self-check. The other poster contains some very important facts and details and risk factors about testicular cancer. It talks about the signs of early disease, the signs of advanced disease, the risk factors, one of the main ones of which is being born with an undescended testicle. That is a risk factor for testicular cancer. And also has the very important warning that if you find something that you know is different or that is wrong, and you people with testicles, you know what they're like on a normal basis, so if there's a change, my biggest message to you, my most important takeaway is if there's a change in one of your testicles, don't wait. Jameson waited a year with active symptoms, but was too embarrassed to tell us about them, which is why he was diagnosed so late, and is why he eventually died. So what this tells you is if you find something that isn't right, to go see a urologist right away. Insist on an ultrasound, get it checked out. And below that is our website, because if you want more information, we can get it to you. So that is the Nut Hut. It is posters, information, Mr. Scrody. Oh, and also, just as important, and the last thing in there is I have a stack of business cards of a local urologist oncologist. Because if someone is in there, either a man is in there or a young man, or his mother, or his partner, or his wife, who knows that he's having some symptoms, there's a stack of business cards so they're not left with no resource when they realize they really need to go to the doctor. There's a local urologist who does very good education with all of his patients about testicular cancer, and so you can walk away with a resource and have someone to call on your next business day.
So, you probably noticed that I'm smiling a little bit about this, and I think we're all just a little bit uncomfortable talking about this, and yet at the same time, this is deadly serious.
Yes, and this is the biggest problem with testicular cancer. It's a young men's disease typically. If you are a male between 15 and 44, and you get cancer, it is most likely to be this type of cancer. And most of the people anywhere that I've ever known of don't know that. Here's why it's a perfect storm of bad factors, it being a young men's cancer. Young men are invincible, as they'll tell you.
They're bulletproof.
Yes, they're bulletproof, they're invincible, bad stuff doesn't happen to them.
Right.
Number two, they don't want to go to the doctor under any circumstances, most of the time.
Old men either, for that matter.
Yes, even doctors
Yeah.
will wait, even when they know there's something wrong.
Right.
And third, it's embarrassing. And that perfect storm of bad factors is what caused our son to wait until he actually couldn't bear it anymore and was writhing around on the floor. He was diagnosed at 14, was able to get into remission after horrible treatment late that year. Then he went through high school in remission. And what he said to a young friend of his while he was in remission in high school, and I've quoted this probably 1,000 times by now, he said, "It just kept getting bigger and bigger, but I was too embarrassed to tell my mom." So my boy died of embarrassment. Plain and simple. There's so many tragic parts of this story. Another part of the tragedy of this is that Jameson was born in 1990. The disease was cured 13 years before that, but not when you wait until you're stage 4. Before 1977, it was a death sentence. 5% curable, 95% fatal. Dr. Larry Einhorn in Indianapolis invented the chemotherapy that caused that to flip. Now it's 95% curable.
Wow, that's
when
amazing.
caught early. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So those are really good statistics, but not if you wait till you're stage 4, poor prognosis.
So detection is absolutely essential.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I don't talk about prevention. We don't know what causes it. We know some risk factors, some correlations. We don't know what causes it, but we do know that early detection is the key to living with this.
Right. Okay. So knowing that that young men typically aren't going to want to have this conversation, or men in general.
Yes.
Who do you think should be helping them with making the decision to go see a doctor?
It should be anybody that they will listen to.
Okay.
When I will collar a young man anywhere I am, and I'll give them my 30-second lecture about testicles, which is that they shouldn't hurt, they should not have lumps or bumps, and they shouldn't be radically different sizes. And after I talk to them and I watch the eyes start to glaze over, then I say, okay, if you remember nothing else from this very strange conversation you weren't expecting to have, remember this. If there's a change in your testicles, don't wait. And what you need to do is you need to tell somebody who's going to drag you to the doctor. This is why I educate parents. This is why when I see people wheeling a baby boy in a stroller, I ask them, can I spend 30 seconds with you that might help you save your child's life? This should be covered in health classes, junior high and high school. I know for a fact that Jameson's health class did not cover it, and the reason I know that is I asked a friend of his, and his friend said, well, it was on the syllabus, but they knew it was really embarrassing, so they just kind of glossed over it.
No.
Yes.
Yeah. So we talk about reproductive health, but we don't actually talk about things that'll save your lives.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Another important way station is sports physicals. Jameson has sports physicals 7 months before his diagnosis, and a testicle check was not done. I don't know why. I don't know what happened, what conversation happened in that room, but we lost 7 months of diagnosis and treatment time, and I'm convinced we lost probably a stage. So that was a big fail. Another big fail is that Jameson was a cross-country runner starting at least as early as 9th grade. The coaches should be talking about it in their health talks.
Right.
Teachers should be talking about it in health class. Parents should be talking about it. You teach good touch and bad touch. You teach bullying. You
Right.
teach what's your perimeter of personal space and what's beyond that. You teach that if you fall down and your elbow really hurts, then it might be broken and you need to tell me so I can take you to the doctor.
Right.
The same sort of education should happen not just about sexual matters and dating matters, and consent. Those are all really important conversations.
Absolutely.
But it also should be had about the genitals' physical health, just like the rest of your body's physical health, and mental health, for that matter. It should be taught as a normal part of parenting. I know of a young man who is now 6. By the time he was talking, his mom, who was a good friend of Jameson's back when they were in junior high, this wasn't going to happen to her again. She gave birth to a son. This wasn't going to happen to her. So it's a normal part of their birth. It's a normal part of their bath time.
Oh,
so I actually have a postcard that explains how to do a self-check, and this young man named Tristan is quoted because he and his mom came up with a poem, a little saying, so that he could remember. And he was 4. So if Tristan could be doing this by age 4, anybody can do it. And his little poem is, no lumps, no bumps, no pain, the same. Voila.
Perfect.
It is a normal part of his bathing for her to look at them and make sure they look normal, and for him to check them himself, because he's down there all the time too. He's 6.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
he now knows that if something's different about them or if they hurt, it's a serious matter that he needs to talk to his mom or his dad about. So education along with everything else. There's also those embarrassing conversations you have in the car with your tween or your teen where they're a captive audience and you've got that 20 minutes on the way to practice and you say, hey, let's talk about something I want you to know about. And he can't get out. He's captive. So that's another good time. Or family meetings, or conversations about sex, or a first girlfriend or boyfriend. The other important population here is to talk to not only the boys and the men, but the women and the girls. Not only the moms, but just like breast cancer, half of the cases are found by a partner.
Right.
So at the 5K, I talk to the women and the girls as well, and I say, speaking to the wives and the partners and the girlfriends, and I say, so ladies, while you're down there, give them a squeeze, give them a look, and every single person laughs, but when they go home, they don't forget that.
Right.
What's also the case is that, and I've heard this from real men who have had testicular cancer, is that the female in their life is most likely to be the one who drags them to the doctor.
Absolutely.
And I know of multiple men who have said to me, yeah, my wife kept listening to me complain and she made me go, and if she hadn't made me go, I would have kept waiting.
Yeah.
And he may have died because of that. So she saved his life.
So what should folks know about the 5K?
What folks should know about the 5K is that it is every March in St. Edward State Park in Kenmore, which was Jameson's favorite place to run. He was a cross-country runner himself. That's what inspired the 5K. We had our first one shortly after he died, and it's grown into a signature event. So what you need to know is that you don't need to be a runner. We have a 5K. It is on trails. It is laid by Jameson's cross-country coach. It is not all the way down to the water and all the way back up. It's not that steep trail you're worried about. It's a flat high school cross-country course. You can do a 5K trail run. We have professional timers if you care about your time, and the first 20 or 30 people always do. We have a professional timing company. If you're not a runner but you're a walker, we have a 1-mile trail walk. It's not timed, but you get a bib. And if you're not a runner or a walker, or you're rehabbing, or you didn't go to bed till late the night before, we have a 0K sit and eat pie. So you don't even have to get off your chair to register for the 5K and come and support us. Pie. You want to hear about the pie aspect?
I want to hear about the pie. That's the key. So come on, people. Pie.
So pie. You don't know how many people, when I say there's pie, say, oh, wait, there's going to be pie? All right, I'll come. So come for the pie. I don't care why you come. The pie aspect is because Jameson's birthday is March 14th. And for the nerds and geeks among you, or mathematicians or high school teachers, you know that mathematical pi, PI, is 3.14.
Right.
So what I learned when I acquired a young son with a Pi Day birthday is that is a thing.
That's
there
a
are
thing.
shirts, there are parties, I'm sure there are runs, there are Pi Day runs, I'm sure there are. So I have incorporated pie into the 5K because, A, that's one of the ways I fattened up Jameson when he was getting ready for high-dose chemo when he recurred when he was 19. But more important, pie was a thing of his. He loved blackberry pie, which is why we always have berry pie at the run.
Yep.
And in fact, every single person who registers gets their own personal pie. So you walk away with your own pie, and we also are the hashtag only 5K with a pie table. When you get here and you see these big cement picnic tables, one of them is covered with pieces of pie. Sit down, eat pie, have some coffee, have some hot chocolate, throw some money in the donation jar. That would be awesome. It's a way that Jameson's presence is really near to me when we do the 5K, and it attracts people here because look at my demographic. It's 15 to 44. They like pie. And cross-country runners, they need to eat. And I also understand that cross-country runners can be the same population as mountain bikers.
So now,
So they like to eat pie as well.
speaking of that demographic,
Hmm.
isn't there a significant celebrity who also has suffered with, in fact, he actually survived testicular cancer, wasn't there? Wasn't that Lance Armstrong?
Yes, yes. In fact, Lance Armstrong was one of Jameson's heroes when Jameson was still alive. Yes, and in fact, what we owe to Lance Armstrong is that when Jameson was first diagnosed, we, as his family, did some research about something very important that we learned about cancer, which is when you get cancer, you want to be treated where they treat your cancer, your type of cancer. And Seattle is an awesome place to get treated for lots of things. Children, and Jameson was a pediatric patient. Children's Hospital is great with brain cancer, leukemia, Ewing sarcoma, children's cancers. This is not a children's cancer. It's an adult's cancer. The epicenter of treatment for testicular cancer is Indianapolis, Indiana. That's where Lance Armstrong treated. That's where we brought Jameson. He had all his consultations there. He had all of his first surgeries, starting at the groin, going all the way up to his neck. And they are the ones who quarterbacked his chemo.
Wow.
So Lance was very important for that because he was such a public figure and we knew what type of cancer he had. We found out where he treated, and we treated with the same doctors. There also are some awesome doctors in Seattle that follow testicular cancer patients, one of whom golfs with one of my sponsors. I'm looking forward to having lunch with him. Indianapolis is not the only place, but it's where we went. Jameson was diagnosed in 2005. It was a long time ago, and Lance's bout was soon enough before that that we knew where to look. There also is. I used Jameson recently in a presentation I gave to 24 Boy Scouts between 12 and 17, which was a great opportunity.
Yeah.
Another great place to educate is scouting.
Sure.
Scouting groups, service groups, church groups. I've offered to go out to youth groups. I will go anywhere. I'm going to be going out to WSU in a few months because they're going to do something with the Greek system.
Awesome. Yeah. It happens.
That
it's okay.
out.
So I think we've got the 5K. We've got pie.
Yes.
We have a life-saving message.
Yes.
I think the last thing we probably need to say is, maybe the next to last thing is, first of all, let's repeat the dates.
March 10, St. Edward's Day Park in Kenmore. It's
Time?
Yes, and the start gun goes off at 9. Online registration is open now until noon the day before, and you can register going to our website, which is easy. It's Family Jewels, FamilyJewels.education, and you'll see 3 different buttons that say I want to register or sign me up. Click on that button, you can sign right up that way. So online until noon the day before. You also can walk up that day and sign up. We'll be right here with people ready to register you.
And pie.
And pie. There will be pie. You can get here as early as 7:30 in the morning on Saturday, March 10th, and we'll be ready to sign you up and register you or check you in when you get here.
Fantastic. So, one last message. I'm sure you want to say this. Check your nads, lads. Come on down.
That's
Thank
right.
you.
Check your nads. Thanks so much, Dennis. I really appreciate the opportunity.
Thanks, Nancy.
Thank you.